Alright guys, I unfortunately did not get to go to PAX, but I know some friends who did, and some of my friends who went are not into, YouTube videos or stuff, and as you know, I'm a really big Spider-Man fan. It's one of my favorite games, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming out. Well, sorry, not one of my favorite games, one of my favorite series ever in comics, and I like the movies, and I like most of the games. So, here comes the new one, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and as many of you know, I thought the first Amazing Spider-Man game was good, a solid game, but definitely could have improved in a lot of areas. So, it was playable at PAX, and I had two friends who played it, and two opinions that are pretty similar. I will say one is not really a fan of Spider-Man, and one is. So let's get to the one who really isn't a fan too much of Spider-Man. He enjoys it, but it's not anything special in terms of the series itself. But the game, he was optimistic, went in, he enjoyed Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions, Spider-Man 2, so he went to play it. Right away, he told me the city is a little bland. There's not enough things going on again in the city, and there's not really anything to look at. On top of that, the graphics are somewhat iffy. And I believe he played the PS3 version. Do not quote me on this. It could be the PS4 version. He said the graphics are an improvement over the first, but he really expected them to be a lot better if this is the PS4 version or even the PS3. He said one really cool thing is the voice acting seems to be even better in this game than the last. Last one, I think we both agree the voice acting is okay, but he said this reminded him more of Shattered Dimension. It felt more authentic, and that's pretty cool. On top of that, he also said the combat was solid enough and is the first one, but with more combos. And he said one thing to note is it does feel better. He said it like the first one, he felt a little floaty, which I do agree. And he said it's just more responsive, and that's good. The swinging, this is the big thing that everybody wants to know about, and unfortunately, now this is the person who didn't really love Spider-Man. He said the swinging sucked. He didn't like the swinging in Amazing Spider-Man all that much. He said this one is basically that, but a gimmick that you can use both triggers to swing, but it doesn't work like Spider-Man 2, he said. He said things go through walls, things go, if you swing, sometimes it'll go like it's not in the air, it doesn't look like it's in the air, but it'll go right through the wall like it acts like it's in the air, so you don't always have to stick to the wall. And he said it breaks the immersion, and it doesn't feel quite, it feels a little bit more stiff than the first one, which is scary, you know? And he just said that it sucked. He did not like the swinging. So that's from one fan. That's all he really told me when I talked to him yesterday on Skype. Now the other fan, this is a guy who likes Spider-Man almost as much as me, quite possibly more since he dressed up as him 2 Halloweens in a row. But what happened is that he was not looking forward to this game. He did not like Amazing Spider-Man 1 really that much at all. He liked the combat, and he even enjoyed the story enough, but he said that it had nothing else in it. And I semi agree with that. The first one definitely had a pretty cool story mode, but nothing after that. He said that in this one he got to play, and he really was digging it. He said the swinging, while not amazing, it definitely feels more on point, which is kind of odd going against the other guy's opinion, but I guess we'll see when it comes out. He did agree that sometimes the webs go through stuff and all that, but he said that it didn't really bother him, and it just felt better than the last game. He felt more like Spider-Man. The biggest thing he wanted to know is the combat. He loved it. He said that it was far better than the first. It actually worked this time. That was his words. He said it's the Arkham Asylum to Arkham City jump. It's more responsive. You do these awesome moves that just look stunning sometimes. And he said you finally feel like you're Spider-Man with spider senses instead of Spider-Man when you click a button. He said he just loved the combat, and that's what he's looking forward to. He said there's a lot more stuff going on the city, but it's still a bit on the empty side. So that's really all they told me. They kind of gave me like a little overdraft. So this is kind of like a preview to you guys from two guys who've been playing Spider-Man games since as long as me. Spider-Man 1 on even further back. He said Maximum Carnage. I didn't play that too much. But anyway, we've been playing Spider-Man games for a while. So when they got to go to PAX, I didn't, unfortunately, this year. They told me that one told me it's pretty good. He's excited. He might even pre-order it. The other one said it's good, but he thinks it's going to be more of a rent, and he didn't love it. So if you're into the combat, it seems the combat has improved, but the swinging, it's up in the air, not sounding too great, but it could be. Who knows? I will give my full review come August. August 29th it comes out, so give me like 2-3 days after that. I'll get that review out for you guys. Here's the preview of sorts. Two very different opinions, and I really can't wait to actually play it and get my own opinion. I give every Spider-Man game a chance. Hope you all enjoyed. Any questions, leave them, and I will contact them whenever. I'll text them and see what they say in terms of combat or swinging or any other questions. They said the story. There really wasn't much in the demo that they played. Just kind of voiceover in the background. All right, everybody have a good one.